Yo, 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 yo. What's going on, man? Welcome in another edition of Cashed It with Chris, the NBA betting podcast slash show. Man, we got a lot to talk about. Today's November 11th. The podcast, as always, is presented by the Basketball Forever Podcast Network. And honestly, I don't know where I really want to start, man. Let's start like we always do. Let's go back to yesterday, man. I gave out a play on the show yesterday, and then I went ghost last night. After I did the podcast last night, the NBA Crispy Captain show, I felt real bad. I showered, didn't even eat last night, and went straight to sleep. I watched the first half of the game, of the Wizards game, versus the Dallas Mavericks, and you could kind of tell that missing that superstar. Dallas was kind of playing with their food last night, and they covered the first half. So I talked about taking the first half as well. Um, but the main play was the minus three and a half. No way they should have lost that game last night. Honestly, if I'm being perfectly honest with you guys, like I said, I fell asleep, so I didn't watch the second half. But that was abysmal performance, man. Allowing Kuzma to go for 36. Shout out to Mr. Vontae Boombaye though. He did come in and say that line was a little fishy last night. With Porzingis being ruled out, Bill not already not being there, and that line only went to 5.5, 5. So I do understand that. That's really, really weird to me. But that play didn't hit, of course. So yet another right spot, right side. Play doesn't hit though. Dallas looks like trash on the second night of a back-to-back. In a spot that they typically bounce back in. I told you guys yesterday morning, Dallas off a previous loss was 26-15, I think, or 26-12-1 or something like that, covering at a 62% hit after a loss, and then you go play a team without both of their superstars. You have to show up, you have to perform in that spot. I mean, it's uncalled for, like, but you're gonna have those losses, like I just feel like I'm, like I said yesterday on the pod, I'm just always on the wrong side, it seems. But we're gonna stay the course. We're gonna stay the course. We'll get all that money back and more. I'm sure that if not, I would have quit a long time ago. So I always say, man, manage your unit size. Don't overexert yourself too much, because there will be times when the unknown or the hard to explain happens, right? So, and that's what we saw. That's what we saw last night for sure. Going back, just looking at all the games, I think. Let's see. I don't want to. I woke up this morning, like I said, I fell asleep last night on that game early, but I want to say I don't know if Atlanta end up closing as dogs last night, but every dog covered last night. And I told you guys I couldn't lay that 10 with Miami. Miami's not good enough to lay 10 with, even if Charlotte was on the second night of a back-to-back. And then Portland goes in, and I had a real strong lean to the under in that game. New Orleans scores 95 points and Portland covers. So every dog covered last night if Atlanta closed as the dog, because and I'm not sure if they did or they didn't, but Atlanta held Philly to 95 points. And I talked about that on the show as well. So 3 plays I didn't give out. I didn't play them either, but I told you guys yesterday, looking towards Atlanta on the second night of a back-to-back. The rest advantage is not that big this year. I don't know if you guys are paying attention to it or not. The rest advantage is not as big as it was last year. Maybe it'll start to set in as the season goes on, but I think these teams are. I think they're playing. They're not as affected as much, with the rest disadvantage or playing on the second night of a back to back. Of course, I feel like Portland and New Orleans was. That game didn't even get to 200 points, but Charlotte, nah, like they was cool with it. They did what they were supposed to do. Took that game into overtime and end up losing by 5, covering the 10-point spread, 10.5-point spread. Same thing with Atlanta. Atlanta playing on the second night of a back to back. They beat Philly. Of course, Philly doesn't have James Harden, and I thought they'd come back down to earth, and they did as well. But yeah, we want. I like that. The reason why I go back and talk about yesterday's games is because we do have to learn from our mistakes. We do have to learn from the past so that we can apply what we've seen, if it's applicable to today's picks, tomorrow picks, whatever the case might be. So that's why I like to kind of go back and talk about what happened in the past. But What y'all on in the chat, man? What up, KC? Markel, Tunde, what's going on, my brother? Bitsy, what's going on? What's going on? Anthony, what's up, bro? Mavs hurt me last night too, my brother. I mean, I think they hurt us all. I think the Mavs hurt everybody yesterday. It was the right side, and I always say, it helps you sleep better at night. I was already asleep, but it help you sleep better at night when you know at least you're on the right side. LJ said, "What's up, Chris? Cash your Fridays, Denver first quarter." Memphis first quarter, early looks. Yeah, we're gonna talk about them. We got a 7-game slate today, and I actually love the card today. I didn't get a chance to fully break it down, so of course, as I always say, tap back in with me at 5:15 for the Crispy Captain Show. We'll have a lot more lines, a lot more props available. We don't have a lot of that stuff right now, but let's get into today's card, man. We do. Kuzma was in his bag. 36-point game from Kuzma. Boy, looked like you need to start the franchise around him last night. Shout out to my guy Kuzma, man. I wish he was still in LA because we could use him right now. Kuzma was in his bag last night, man. But I do think the Mavs they weren't playing any kind of defense. Dallas shout out to Coach Wes Unseld for the Wizards because the man put him in a zone defense last night. And you just see Luka not had the greatest game. I don't want to talk about that. Let's move forward, man. Mavs legs were shot in the fourth quarter. Yeah, I mean, you don't want to play around with teams like that. You want to bury them early so you don't even have to worry about it. Yeah. Terry said, "Good morning, bro. I always check in with you sometimes. I think you just got to go a little. Think you just go a little too hard with the numbers instead of the face value or the matchup sometimes." I think I disagree with that, bro. I do. I think I try to do a nice job of it's not just face value, it's watching the games. And then, if the numbers correlate to that, then that's what I'm doing. But I'm taking Dallas off a loss pretty much every single time. That's just, that's a trend that I watch. And that's, me watching them play. I'm not taking the Wizards to cover without Bradley Beal and Porzingis. Also, it was the Wizards' first time winning the game on the second after winning a game after a win, too. I talked about that yesterday as well. The Wizards were 0-3-1 or 0-3-2, I think, coming off a win because the Wizards had already beat Charlotte. So, yeah, I'm not taking the Wizards to win back-to-back games, and if I lose on that, I'm cool with it. That's a trend I'm looking to fade every single time. So that's that. But let's get into today's game, man. I think I bought the banner up. We got 7 games, but I want to go to let's go to this Nuggets game first. So Suns and the Magic, Chris Paul injury, Bonchoro's also on the injury list. So I didn't want to add that game. I do think that the Suns are laying too many points, but we'll discuss that one later as we get more information. And then it takes us to the next game. So this Nuggets and Celtics game. Nuggets are they actually open as 5-point favorites. I'm sorry, 5-point dogs in this one. So let me just make sure. So it's come down to 4.5, and I think I'd agree with that. Total on this one opened at 233.5. It's down to 231 now. 231.5. I see a 232. So some money's coming in on the under as well. So for the Nuggets, right? They're coming off a come from behind win against the Indiana Pacers. They were down in that game. And they're 2-0 straight up, but 0-2 on their current 0-2 ATS on their current 4-game road trip. So they still got more games to play. This will only be the second time that the Denver Nuggets are a dog this year. The last time they were a dog was against the Golden State Warriors on the second game of the season. And they not only did they win and cover and win that game straight, not only did they cover in that game as a dog, but they won that game as a dog, and that game went over as well. But the Celtics, on the opposite side, they come in off a win versus the Pistons. This will be their first game of a back-to-back. They travel to Detroit tomorrow, and interestingly enough, the Celtics, when they're laying more than 4.5 points this season, they're just 2-4 against the spread. So I do feel like this could be a Nugget spot. Also, you add in that Brogdon's hurt, and these teams like to get up and go. I mean, I know people know this already, but the Celtics, they're the best offensive team in the league. If you look at offensive rating throughout the whole season, Denver's right behind them. They're 5th. But then when you go in and you break it down, looking at the last 5 games, Boston ranks second, Denver ranks third. Boston ranks 15th defensively, and Denver ranks 14th defensively. So 2 evenly matched teams. I feel like 4.5 points is too much for me to lay with Boston. And Denver typically plays better on the road. Also, big double revenge game for Denver as well. Last year when these 2 teams played, we know that Jokic was there, but he didn't have his boys with him. Jamal Murray wasn't there. Michael Porter Jr. wasn't there. This year he has his guys with him. So double revenge game for Denver as well. Boston beat them twice last year. They beat them in Boston. They beat them in Denver as well. So, early lean for me would be Denver plus the 4.5 points, but I haven't played that one yet. I do kind of like Denver. What y'all think about that in the chat? What y'all got? Why the Bucks spread only 1 against the Spurs? Suspicious. That's because Drew Holiday and Giannis already got ruled out, KC. Them boys both out already tonight. So the Spurs can score. We saw the Spurs just keep up with Memphis the other day and take them into overtime. So when the Spurs are healthy, they Coach Popovich been kind of teetering with that lineup, and Devin Vassell and Keldon Johnson and Collins. Those guys have missed time already. So when they're the full squad though, the Spurs can score. They're not playing no defense, but they can score the ball. And they can keep up with you. And when you think about taking the Bucks, you definitely want to have Giannis in. You want to have Drew Holiday in because those guys are the ones that lead the offense. So, I think that's why. It's gonna be. I think it'll be a little difficult for the Bucks to score the ball today, not having their their 3 best players. Of course, Chris Middleton hasn't played yet either. So I think that's the reason for that. KC, Remy said Dallas and Boston. Then they're two of the then their best 2 off a loss. Yeah, I gotta look into that. Boogie said sweep yesterday, 4-0 in the spaces. Be back today. My God. Appreciate that, Boogie. Boogie say you like the under. Marcus Smart assist prop is cashing 6 plus 7 out of the last 9 games. I like that look, LJ. He actually on my short list too. Marcus Smart getting his assist, especially in a fast-paced game. Denver likes to get up and down the floor. We know Boston does as well. Both of these teams average more than 30 points in the first quarter. These are, the first quarter cash cows. I like that look. We don't have lines, of course, for it, but that's one way I was looking in this game was first quarter, first half, probably game total over, whatever we get that line sitting at, probably about 120. I like that. I like the pace. I think teams come out. I think they score early. I think both teams push the pace. Not looking for a lot of defense in this game at all. So yeah, I like I said, I take the points with Denver. I gotta look a little more into that, but probably take the points with Denver. Seems like a winnable game for them on the East Coast. Markel said maybe we can I think is get a better price on Bobby Porter's double. I'm off Bobby, bro. But Bobby probably bounced back today. I'm off of him though. Zachariah said MPJ props is a look. His stuff was stolen out of his hotel. He wants to get it back. Oh, I didn't even know that. I got to look into that. Markel said Joker over rebounds. I can see that. Sosa, my guy. What's up, Sosa? Sosa said Denver plays no defense. Take the over. Yeah, that's what I was looking at, Sosa. It's coming down, which I actually like a lot too. Brogdon got ruled out, of course, but it's not going to stop anything. It's Friday too. We know Friday crazy stuff happens. So if this game got to 130 to 130, it wouldn't surprise me. Remy said Smart and Brown should slow down Maul and MPJ. I expect Joker to have his way on the boards though. I do too. Looking at the Joker, probably taking his points and rebounds together, he could get the assist, but his whole PRA probably gonna cash for real. But yeah, I appreciate y'all in the game. I appreciate y'all in the chat. Let me get back to one more game I want to talk about real quick because we at the 15-minute mark. So let's go to I think this is the last game of the season. I think so before I skip over it, Pistons play the Knicks tonight. Marvin Bagley the third is questionable to make his return. I think it'll be his first game of the season. That's big. I've been talking about his defensive impact for the Pistons. The Knicks have got smacked up at the I wouldn't say at the crib. They weren't at the crib. They were in Brooklyn, but right up the street from the crib. But Cade is listed as questionable. So, the Pistons have looked terrible, especially on the road this year. I think they already got a loss to the Knicks, and then they play Detroit. I'm sorry, they they play in Detroit against the Celtics tomorrow. So not really looking to cap that one too much. The Knicks should be at a get right spot after getting embarrassed by Brooklyn the other day, but we don't know how that's gonna go. I would be probably looking at what's the kid name? Jalen Brunson props in that game. Pistons don't stop anybody. I like Brunson in that game, of course. Bucks and the Spurs, Drew Holiday and Giannis out. Let's skip that one. Raptors and the Thunder. Raptors keep getting I mean, the injury list is just, it's piling up. Siakam's out, Kim Birch is out, uh Baisley's out for the Thunder. But I still would look towards the Raptors, look towards the under in that one. Total is at 220.5. If the Raptors going to win the game, it's going to be with their defense and not so much their offense. And then Koloko, you got to look at his rebounds, especially against the Thunder. He's been the big that's getting a lot of minutes that Nick Nurse has grown to trust so far this season. But yeah, let's go to this Cavs and Warriors games, man. So this spread actually opened at 3 in favor of the Cavs. I'm sorry, in favor of Golden State. It's since come down to 1.5. So you guys see the 3 on the board. It's come down to 1.5. The total was at 230. It's come down to 228.5, 229. I see. Excuse me. And I would agree. Man. So looking at this game, you get the Cavs. They're coming into this game off back-to-back losses. They lost. They beat the Lakers. They lose to the Clippers on a game that I call incorrectly that they should have won. And then they go to Sacramento, which is right up the street, and they lose to Sacramento. And, just very uncharacteristic, especially defensively. The defense that looked really, really good when they were on the East Coast, they go out West and forget how to play defense. They even had to flip that switch against the Lakers in the second half because they were losing to the Lakers at halftime as well. I don't know if you guys remember that. This is the spot that I feel like I'm going to be all over today. So injury-wise, Dante DiVincenzo is probable. He's projected to play tonight. It'll be his first game in a very, very long time. But looking at this game, man, like Coach JB Bickerstaff is a leader of men. I love him as a motivator to get his team right. And he chastised his guys, man. If you go and you read the articles, he is really, really hard on his players and, them not playing, a certain brand of what he calls the Cleveland Cavaliers basketball. He said that they play arrogant. He chastised them for it. The Warriors probably feeling themselves. The Warriors are not that good right now. I know that they got a win coming back off that 5-game East Coast trip. They shouldn't have won that game because I wouldn't say they shouldn't have won, but it should at least went to overtime because Kevin Huerter was fouled on that 3-pointer, and the league came out and said it after they did the last 2-minute review, whatever you want to call it, that Kevin Huerter was fouled on that last 3-point attempt by Klay Thompson. They didn't call it. So, yeah, all those things considered, give me the Cavs, man. I think I'm going to take the Cavs. I haven't done it yet. Reading the quotes from JB Bickerstaff, this is what the dude said. He said, we've gotten to this habit, and it's my responsibility to be better of allowing players to just play freely to start the game, and then to think that we're going to turn it around in the second half. That's arrogant basketball. You can't survive in the NBA playing that way. If you want to be a good basketball team, we need to remember who we are, and we need to play Cavaliers basketball, Bickerstaff said. Not hero ball, not my turn, not selfishly, not selfish defensively, not executing the game plan. If we don't do those things, we'll have nights like tonight. We were a disappointing basketball team. There's no way around it. We need to be on the field. We need to be held accountable for it. Then Donovan Mitchell quote, he said, you saw it in the third. Donovan Mitchell said after scoring a game high 38 points, we have done it on many occasions. Disappointing that we don't start off the same way as a collective group. We can't start off the game that way. Teams are too talented. We can't come out and expect to just turn it on. That's not how you want to respond after losing a game. Really on us to make that effort as a group. Has nothing to do with the offense. It's just our defense. So, I like to look into the quotes. I like to find the motivation. And I think the Warriors coming off a win, the Cavs coming off 2 straight losses. I'm looking at the Cavs early, first quarter, first half. We know that Golden State is a really good third quarter team. I would be looking at taking the Cavs first quarter, first half. I also think the game goes under, which is why the total is starting to trickle under 229 as well. We know that the Cavs can score. We know that the Golden State Warriors can score, especially in their gym, that new arena that they have. But I would still be looking towards the under. I think the safer play is take the Cavs first quarter, first half. You can get them probably plus the points, plus a half a point, plus 1.5. But I think the Cavs respond well to what Coach JB Bickerstaff said. What you guys think about that in the chat? Sosa said Warriors don't care right now. Garland assist prop. Warriors give up most assists to point guards. Ooh, I like it. I like it. I like it a lot. Let's see. Let's see. Patrick said, "Oh, Boogie said I see a playoff style game. Those East and West teams who don't get to play each other often, and both teams usually get a competitive game. I could see that, but I think it goes over though. If we talking about that Denver and Boston game, Love smart assist. Jaylen Brown got the hot hand. Yeah, I feel like Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum be going back and forth, man. Like I talk about it, all the time in the evening show. Like whoever had the bad game last game typically goes off the next game. It's almost like they go back and forth. KC said Precious Achiuwa's out. Yeah, this guy is hurt as well. Another guy added to the injury report. I saw him limp off and go to the tunnel. What time the show starts? So this show starts at 7 a.m. of course, and then the evening show starts at 5:15 Eastern time every single day. But back to what Sosa was saying, Warriors don't care right now. I think they care, Sosa. I just think that they don't necessarily they don't have to win. They trying to figure it out. Like we saw the quotes last week about Coach Kerr saying he was going to experiment with the lineup. I just feel like the Cavs can come out here and crush the Warriors tonight. I think they crush them, and I especially like it early. We know what the Warriors do in the third quarter. Um, Warriors gonna win. Sosa said that. Yeah, zone. That's crazy, crazy, crazy way that Dallas smacked just gave everybody money away last night to the Washington Wizards. Friday at the crib, Cleveland on the top on the last game of a road trip. They ready to go back home. I think they're more ready to respond though. I think they're more ready to respond before they get back to the road trip. It's a big test game too, I think. So getting the defending champs, you want to see how you measure up to them as well. I mean, they're a team who doesn't care about seeding at all. Yeah, they don't care about seeding. They just want to make it to the playoffs. They don't, I mean, overall, yeah, they just try and get there. They try and get to the dance, and then they'll figure out what dance they want to do when they get there. Jared Allen and Evan Mobley should kill. No, I'm definitely on the Warriors second half. They're trying to get the young guys 3 years experience more than 40 games. Yeah, I could see that too, Patrick. But that's how I'm looking, man. Nothing officially locked in, but give me I'm gonna be looking hard at the Cavs first quarter, first half in this game to at least set the tone defensively against a Golden State Warriors team that has struggled. I think they're giving up the most points and most rebounds to opposing big men. I expect Jared Allen and Evan Mobley to actually come out there and look like they want to fight. They've looked soft on this road trip if you watch them play. They're giving up points in the paint. Trey Lyles went off the other day. Like, you can't have that, bro. Keegan Murray hasn't been playing well. He comes back home and give these boys everything that they want. And then on the opposite side, you do see a little the hero ball. Donovan Mitchell having to bail these guys out. And it's that tick for tack, your turn, my turn. So of course they're still figuring it out. It's early in the season, but one thing that you can't control, even when you're trying to figure it out, is your effort on the defensive end. And they played no defense in that game against the Sacramento Kings. I watched that game from start to finish, and you could just tell that, they were never going to step up and get a stop defensively. I think they do tonight though. Captain said Warriors trying to figure out the rotation. Wiseman not playing like they expected defensively. Yeah, and that's a fact. Wiseman, he got, I wouldn't say he's playing bad, but Wiseman isn't playing to what I thought that he would play to. This guy's still so young in the league. He got a lot of experience he got to get. Sosa said Mobley getting barbecue chicken on the perimeter. The whole positionless defense lie is showing. Yeah, no, that's a fact. That's a fact. But I think I like the effort tonight, man. Looking at the under, looking at the first quarter as well. And then I talked about that Denver game, looking looking at Denver plus the points. I think it's a winnable game for Denver. Boston on the first game of a road trip. Patrick said, I'm gonna get out of here after this one. Patrick said, random question: how do you handle large slates? Do you just pick 2 games to watch in full? I find myself not really soaking up the info from games because I'm switching between 8. Yeah, I just watch a couple at the same time too, Patrick. Then I typically go back and watch the other ones. The iPad open, the TV on, watching one on my phone. So yeah, I'm shifting back and forth between them, trying to watch about 4 at the same, throughout the night, 2 early ones and 2 late ones. And then I go back and watch them, after go back and watch the other ones, especially if I want to bet on one of the teams. Look at the reports from the coaches as well, watching the post game interviews, all those type of things to get as much information as we possibly can before putting our bets in, man. So that's what I got for you guys today. Appreciate you guys for tapping in with me. If you can, like the show on Twitter, retweet it on Twitter as well. Hit the like button for me on YouTube. And we'll be back today, 5:15 Eastern time. For the NBA Crispy Capping Show. So best of luck to you guys. It's a bounce back day after Dallas, sold on us last night, but that's what I got for you guys, man. Best of luck. Tap back in with me later, 5:15 Eastern time for the NBA Crispy Capping Show. I'm out.